I'm doing a little coding challenge in one take right now. I'm going to try and make snake as fast as possible in Godot. This is first try, so I won't be cheating, and you will see all of the mistakes that happen along the way, the debugging, and maybe it's useful to see the thought process and how I go about building a game from scratch as fast as possible. Because I'm also going to use some techniques that I'm not super familiar with and set myself some challenges. Like, for example, I won't be using a tile map, but I want to use a tile map. Basically, I will be kind of recreating it, and I'll try to do everything in one node. I have a little bit of an idea of how I want to do this. Let's first create our node 2D and our script, and I'm gonna try and talk as much as possible, but please don't blame me if I'm just going into hyper coding mode. So the first thing I want to do is when I launch this, I currently just have an empty screen. Select current, and I'll just use the size of this. I'm not going to mess with the project settings or anything like that, but what I need is I need to rasterize it. I need to get a grid, so I'll get the width of the screen first, which is a float, and variable height float, and then I'll start with a ready function in which I will ask what those are. So width is equal to get viewport rect.size .x, and then normally if I print this, let's see what it will show me. It will show me 1152, so that is the size of my viewport. Sure. And then I'll just copy this so I can use it for the height as well, which is gonna be the y. There we go. So I have width and height. Now to rasterize it, I basically need to create chunks, tiles. So I'm gonna create a constant which is just gonna be the size of my tile. So I'll do tile size vector2 is equal to I'll set 50 50. Sure. So I probably have to mess with this value, but if I want to know how many tiles fit in the screen, I basically need to do I need to declare two more variables. So variable amount tiles, no, amount width. I'm not sure how to call this. I'll do amount width, which is an integer, and amount height, which is an integer, and then amount width needs to be width divided by the tile size dot x. So then I get how many tiles there are, but this needs to be a whole number, of course. I'm not going to be working with half tiles, so I think I can use round, which, if I remember correctly, if I read real quick, rounds by the nearest number. Yes, I can also use snapped if I want it to be a nice even or round number, but I don't really care. And so then I can also do amount. Well, I'll just copy paste again, of course. Amount height is equal to the height divided by tile size dot y. Perfect. So now if I print, well, actually I don't even need to print. I can just run this project, and then in the remote tab here I'll be able to see the values by clicking on the node, and we see width, height, we see amount width and amount height is 23 and 13. Okay, so now I want to be drawing cells there. So how am I doing that? We need to use a draw function. So function draw, which draws to the screen, and I need to first loop over all of our cells. So this draw call will be happening every frame, which is not ideal. I guess it doesn't have to, but we can think about optimizing later. First of all, let's make this work. I need to draw a grid. So for x, I think I can just use x, even though that is a coordinate in the node system. I think I can use this, which is going to be an integer in amount width, and then I need to do a nested loop for y integer in amount height. I'll just do a draw rectangle, and I need to create a rectangle. So var tile, which is going to be a rect2, is equal to rect2. Position will be the xy, so vector2 xy, but it needs to be at the center of the tile, so plus half a tile, right? Plus tile size divided by 2, and I think I need to wrap that in brackets. Whoa, that was not where I wanted to go. So here. Okay, so now this vector xy plus half a tile. Okay, what else does a rect2 need? It needs a size, and the size will just be the tile size, of course. Because I think it draws from the center. If not, I can just skip the second part. I know for a circle you would have to do it like this. Maybe rectangles are drawn from, or rects are drawn from the top left corner. But we'll find out. Then I'll just do, wait, identify tile not declared in current scope. What do you mean? It should be fine, right? Oh no, tile. Tile divided by 2. This is tile size, of course. Draw a rectangle, so we get our tile. I'll do color dots. Doesn't really matter. I'll get aquamarine. If I run this, does it draw all my tiles in the correct spots? No, it does not. Okay, so what is happening? Oh yeah, I'm drawing it 1 pixel apart. So I also need to move it, of course. Drawing in this position is stupid, right? I need to do this position plus, or multiplied by the tile. Does that make sense? I hope so. The position xy is first 0 0, then it's 1 1, then it's 1 2, 1 3, whatever. So it needs to be multiplied by tile size, and then this is just to offset it by half a tile, which might not be necessary. If I run this, oh, okay, I think it works, but just for good measure, I will, instead of making it 50-50, I will make it vector to 40-40. So we can actually see, if I can type, we can actually see the tiles better visually. There we go, that works. Now let me, it looks like it is not drawing from the center but from the corner, so I can skip this second part, and now I should have all the tiles rendered on screen. Nice. I would like to align it to the center as well, but I actually can't be bothered. So instead, let's just do tile size. So we have our grid being drawn. Nice. Now, what's next? I also want to change the color, probably to something more neutral. I'll just go through the default colors. There is, actually I like dark gray, sure, which I think is a default color anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit bright, but it's fine. So now we want to spawn our guy that we can move. So I'll have a snake, and a snake is actually going to be an array, right? An array of what tile you are on. So I can create a variable snake, which will be an array that holds a vector 2e. 2e's are just always by increments of 1. So it's what's used for tile maps as well, and this will initiate empty, so there's nothing in the snake yet. There is an issue. Cannot assign value of type vector2 as vector3. Oh, what the fuck? I accidentally changed that somehow. The keybinds sometimes mess up a bit, but also because I am not looking at my keyboard right now and I'm still practicing the Vim motions. So our snake is empty, but I'll initiate it. So with the ready call here, we basically have, I'll put this in a separate function get screen. So we call get screen, and then I will want to also do init snake, and then oh, it just needs a colon there. We create function init snake. Now I need to find the middle part of the screen. Basically I want to spawn my snake there, so that's pretty simple, right? I can get var middle vector2 vector2e I'll do is equal to vector2e, and then the x is width divided by 2, and I think this will be automatically rounded, but just to be sure I will round it. Rather be safe than sorry, and round height divided by 2. Okay, and then I'll do snake dot append middle. Okay, now if I run this, let me check the parameters real quick. We have our screen completely drawn, and if I go into the node, we see snake is at, oh shit, right, I'm using the width. I need to not use width, I need to use the amount width, because we're working with not the total pixels but the actual tiles that I have, right? So now if I look at this, we see 11.6. Okay, there is a little bit of a warning that my editor is throwing. Decimal part will be discarded. Yeah, I don't care. I think I'll just keep this. Okay, we have our snake. Now we need our snake to move, and there needs to be an input. It needs to go up, left, right, or down. So by that, I will create another variable, which is input, which I think, can I put an input event in here? I think so. And can I set it? So can I do input is equal to input event dot new. I'm actually not sure how this works. I'll do it differently. Instead of an input event, let me create an enum. Enum movement. And enums I prefer to do in caps. And we have left, right, up, and down. Nice. Now I'll do input is equal to movement dot right. Sure. And then instead of an input event, this will be a movement. I mean, I can by default set movement dot right, I guess. I don't need to initiate it here. But I'll just put it there in case I do want to change it down the line or make it an option. So now we start at movement right. And we need input events. But I need this game to run slower, because if I update every single frame, this will be a mess. I can do it like arbitrarily, but I'll just go to project settings. And then if I go to frame, will it get me somewhere? Rendering device, window. Where is frame rates? Actually unsure. Maybe I just keep normal frame rate, but only update it every half a second or something. That could work. So maybe I do var frame progress, which is a float that will be 0. And I'll do variable, or I can make a constant. Constant frame rate, and I'll put it to 0.5. And this could be something that we change in the game as well. That could be kind of cool. Maybe normally as the game goes on longer, it goes faster as a way to make it harder, right? So this could be a variable that scales over time. And then we are gonna have a process function. I don't know if I should use normal process, probably, because physics process is, well, for physics, I'm using process function that's visual. Very simple, I'll do the frame progress plus equals delta. And then while, or no, I can just do if frame progress is smaller than the frame rate, return. And then once it is not, else, it will do frame progress, sets it back to 0. And that's it, and we can trigger our logic from there. So basically every time it's lower, it will do this. Just to check this, I'll do print okay. Now we go back in the output, and now every half a second we should get okay in the terminal. We do. Okay, we have our arbitrary frame rate while keeping the real frame rate, which I do like, because for inputs, if inputs are, they're only registered on the physics frames of the engine, of course, because it only triggers on that on the frame. So if you do have actually a lower frame rate, the inputs are buffered and they're kind of slow. So I think this is a better solution anyway. And so now I'm gonna add another function. I'll add it here, which is unhandled input event. Then if event is action pressed, and there is some default events. There is down, up, left, and right. So I'll do right, then input is equal to movement.right. I think I could also just funnel this input event in here, but I prefer like this, because now if I leave the right key, it still has it there, and I have my own system for it. I don't know, I feel like this is cleaner. Maybe it's better to actually just save the input event, but I settled on this. I'll keep going with this. There's no reason to keep thinking about what is actually optional, right? I mean, it's not like this is going to be a big game that will be played by millions. So input is equal to movement left, then if event is action pressed up, then input is movement dot up, and if event is action pressed down, then input is equal to movement dot down. Nice. So now I should be able to press a button and then it will stay in the buffer and it keeps that movement until I press another direction key here. So if up, down, left, right. Nice. A snake also has a length, right? So our length, initially var snake length is gonna be 1. You start with 1. And that means we just append one thing into our snake resource. I guess we don't really need length because the snake array. Nah, let's keep the balance. Because now we're gonna move on to actually drawing our snake on screen, because everything in the physics should work. We have our baseline, but now I need to draw the snake and I need to move it around. So what will happen is on a physics stick, I need to move the snake by the input direction, right? So I need to basically say I need to move according to the movement direction. So maybe it's actually worth to do a dictionary, now that I think about it. That combines movements with how to move. Okay, I wonder if this is too stupid, but let's just do this. Const input to movement, which is gonna be a dictionary that takes a movement and outputs a vector 2e. Sure. Seems simple enough. Now we just need to make our dictionary where if I move to the left, bro, I am movement. Well, let's start with right, which will be equal to vector 2e. The x goes +1, the y stays the same. Yes. Let me copy this. So instead of right, we have left, which is going to be the opposite. You move to the left, so this goes negative. Then if you have up, you stay on x0 and this goes to 1. No, -1. I think -1 is moving up in the coordinate system, and down will be 0 and +1. Okay. Now the thing is, if you're moving right, you cannot move left. So I actually need to do a little bit of extra logic, which is if input is action press right and not input. I mean, it's better to do and input is not equal to. Whoa. Okay, it's not equal to movement dot left. Yes, I need to do something like this and add it to each one. So I need to go here. Bro, I am here. No, I need to do. You guys are mostly watching me struggle with the movement controls as I'm getting used to it, but that's fine. And input is not equal to, in this case, movement right. Sure. And then bump. Delete this. Movement down. Okay. And bop, boom, movement up. So now we make sure we cannot turn immediately in the other direction when you want to, because that's just not what happens in Snake. And now on the physics frame, so basically this is the first buffer in the process. We can just leave it as B. Once the frame updates, we need to move our snake. So we do snake dot position. Well, our snake is an array of positions, right? So I basically need to take the final position in the snake, add the movement to it, and remove the final the first position of the snake, if that makes sense. I guess I can draw it in Paint real quick. Paint, so that way I have a little bit of a better way to visualize it. But basically our array, let me get the pencil. This is our snake, and you can almost visually see this as the snake on the screen. When the frame updates, you basically need to see the movement direction. Let's say it's up. We take our final spot, which is our head, move it up, so add to it, and we cut off the final one in the array, and then the array is gonna take all of these new nodes. That is the basic logic. So I basically do snake.append, and then I need to append the updated head. So I need to get the snake dot back plus, and then we have our input to movement dictionary, and we pass in the key that is our inputs, which is left, right, up, down, and then it matches it with the vector 2e. And then the final thing we'll do is, well, I guess I can just close this up. Snake dot pop front, which just removes the thing from the front. Simply put, we can also just do remove at 0, which I guess is the same thing, right? But now we should have a snake that moves, and I will just check in the inspector real quick if that works. So if we see our snake, we see our X slowly increasing over time, which is awesome. And then we are just gonna draw whatever spot that is. So then we do, actually I will put this into draw BG, right? So then let me just do function draw BG, so I can more easily separate all of my draw calls. And then for some reason this lost a bracket. Then I will also have a draw snake, so function draw snake, where I need to just draw the head. So I need to find its position, which is just, oh no, I need to draw everything. So for snake parts, which is a vector 2e and snake, we simply add, or we draw a square. So we need to create a rect, or snake rect, which is a rect 2. Okay, the logic, I think we can kind of yoink. It's vector 2 xy. The xy in this case is just gonna be the snake parts, which I guess doesn't even have to be in brackets. And then multiplied by tile size. And we have to give it a size of tile size as well. That was a lot easier than expected, but invalid operands vector 2e and vector 2. So it's not able to do that here. Take a vector, why not? And if I just cast this as a vector 2, then that should work, right? In theory. And then I just do draw rects, snake rects, and the color I want like an orange. Yes, this, or maybe a green actually. Yeah, it's a snake, of course it should be green. Let's see if we have a moving ball in the screen. It is not moving. Why are you not moving? Is it moving in the editor? I guess it is. So for some reason this is not being updated. Why not? Snake parts. For snake part in snake, snake.append. Is this draw call? Oh, I'm not firing the draw call again. Of course, I need to do query draw. Draw call only fires once at first, and now our snake moves to the side. The frame rate is pretty slow, so luckily we can easily adjust that in here. Which, where did I put it? Frame progress, frame rate here. I'll put it to 0.3 or 0.2 even. And actually it should be able to move already. Let me see if I can do this. I can move up, down, left, right. Oh, this is awesome. And I can now go in the opposite direction. So we have a moving square. I am 20-ish minutes into this this project. It's actually going way longer than I expected, but I hope it's educational and somewhat fun at least to see me work on this. We have 80 lines of code, but with white space, so maybe like 60 lines, who knows, 70. Probably 70 if I think about it. Anyway, we now need to add stuff to our snake and we need to spawn random orbs. So I will do a variable which is orbs, which will also just be an array of vector 2e's. Surprise, surprise. Maybe it's better to use vector 2's instead of vector 2e's, I'm realizing. Because I feel like a vector 2e, the fact that you can't multiply it with a normal vector, it's a bit odd. So I'll just do that, and then I can also remove the cast here on the snake parts, and it should all still run just fine. Invalid operands. Oh yeah, this is also vector 2e still. I cast, or if I run this, there is now an issue. Input operands vector2 and vector2e. So input movement is a dictionary that takes vector2e's. Yes, okay, does it work now? Yes, everything is fine. Good. Next step is the orbs, which will initiate as an empty array. Right, if I can type. And we basically need to spawn after a set amount of time, which I can also increase and decrease over time. So I'll set as a constant first, but it can be something variable. So spawn rate, which can be a float, let's say every 5 seconds, or maybe 4 seconds, sure. And then basically I need to have this count towards the spawn rate as well. So frame progress plus equals delta. And there will also be a spawn progress where spawn progress float is equal to 0.0. Because I do need to update both since I'm resetting the frame progress every time. So spawn progress plus equals delta. And I will also need to do if spawn progress is smaller than, no, if spawn progress is bigger or equal than the spawn rate, then it will do spawn progress is 0 and it will spawn and it will do spawn orb, which I will just put into a separate function because that makes it easier once again to differentiate between everything. I'll put it here on top, function spawn orb, and I need to get a random position in the screen. So I need to basically just create a full array of all the tiles that exist, which I actually don't want to be doing every time. It's probably better to put it in the ready call. So I'm just gonna create a tile array var total tiles, which is gonna be an array of vector2. And I guess I can also, instead of looping over x and y, I can here loop over total tiles in a second. So let me copy the draw background, and then where was I going to do this? Here. For x in amount width, for y in amount width, I am basically just going to do total tiles dot append, and then we do vector2 x y. There we go. And then I can just loop over for x, or no, I can just loop for tile in total tiles, and then I need to take these two and just move them back. Tile is equal to, well, tile, well, I need to not call this tile for single, no, this can be tile, this needs to be tile rect, and then tile rect. Does that make sense? No, expect end of statement instead for tile in total tiles. What do you mean with that? Oh, there needs to be, there's one bracket too many? Yes. So instead of looping over x and y in the draw background call, I just put all of the vectors in a total tiles array, which will be pretty big. I loop over those and then I can just set the color. Let's see if this works still, if I didn't break anything. Nope, it still works. And if I look at remote node 2D, we can see there's a total of 299 tiles actually, which is kind of fun. Okay, so our spawn orb still does nothing, but I need to just get a random position. So I'll do that by getting var rand position, which is a vector2 is equal to total tiles dot pick random, but I need to not have the tiles that are part of the snake or part of an orb already. So I need to do actually var filtered tiles, which is gonna bring me an array of vector2s without all of the other mess that I don't need. So it's gonna be total tiles dot filter, and we need a method which I'll call the orb filter. And now we need to make an orb filter. There's actually, I thought this project was going to be way less complicated than it is, but it's a pretty complicated, I mean, not pretty complicated, but there's a lot that goes into making this simple game to make it actually work. So anyway, we just need to return the ones that are not in snake or in the orbs already. So return not, wait, how do I do this? Return, well, op filter, there is going to be the item, right? I filter over every item, so return if item not in snake. Yeah, just item not in snake, and item not in orbs. This is like plain English. Return item not in snake and item not in orbs. And I'll actually, I don't know, printing it doesn't really make sense. I'm just gonna hope that this works. I'm gonna play a bit and then we see if this works or not. But then I take one of the random tiles and I will do orbs dot append random position. And then we of course also need to draw all the orbs. So if we draw snake, we're gonna have draw orbs. And then I just create a function draw orbs. And also I realize I'll put the colors in top actually. Makes it a little bit easier. So const, this will be bg color. Should be color dot, well, color is equal to color dot gray. I actually want it a little bit darker, maybe the web gray. Then const snake color is equal to color dot green, sea green. No, let's take like a nice green. And then const orb color is color dot yellow. Let's get a bright yellow. Nice. And so now we have the get screen, we have the spawn orb, orbs.append. We just need to go to the draw calls, which is here. Draw snake will be color BG color. And the draw snake is gonna be a snake color. And now for the orbs, I can kind of just yoink this code, right? Because it's essentially the same thing for orb, single orb actually. For single orb and orbs. Variable, well, I guess we need an orb rect, right? Orb rect is equal to single orb times tile size, yep. And then draw rect, orb rect with orb color. Let's see, are we spawning orbs right now or no? And do they spawn on, well, not the snake, of course. There's one, okay. Currently I cannot pick it up, I just go over it. And that's fine, but we are spawning orbs only on the sides of the screen. Wait, there's no way this is correct. No, okay. Is it actually just super unlucky that those three were on the edges of the screen? It looks like it. It actually looks like it. None of them are going towards this. Okay, yeah, sure. They spawn randomly. Nice, all of this works. So now I also need to make sure that the snake cannot go off the screen. Let's do that first. So I need to wrap it around. Basically, snake.append, but I need to make sure that the final one is not off the screen. So I need to, I'll put this in a separate function again because I want to keep the process call clear. So this will be move snake, and then I'll just create function move snake. I prefer to move all my like underscore functions up top and like move the functions around a bit, but for this demo it doesn't really matter. So move snake, I basically need to get our snake head, which will be the new snake head that I'm going for, vector 2. Because I need to test if it's out of bounds or not. So let me just delete these, put these in here. So snake head is gonna be basically whatever I have in brackets here. This, but I need to make sure that it is in bounds. So I need to do, I'll do a match statement. Match snake head. First of all, I need to see if it is below 0 on any of them. If it's -1, it needs to wrap around, right? So then I simply just do match snake head dot x smaller than 0. I'll just do snake head dot x is equal to, I can put this on one line maybe, because it's not that much code anyway. Snake head dot x has to be the amount width, right? Which is gonna be the max of the screen. And then there's also snake head dot x is bigger than amount width, then snake head dot x is equal to 0. Actually, expression match pattern must be constant expression identifier or an attribute. Am I missing something? Should this actually just be on separate lines? Is that what the issue is? Or what? No. Why? Why? What is the issue? Match. Oh, snakehead dots. Oh, I think I need to do this. Wait, am I misunderstanding what a match is again? Snakehead.x match. This is just a number, right? Match snakehead. I'm confused. I should just make this an if statement, but wait, match the type. No, I just need to do match snakehead dot x, I think, and then I need to do, oh, what the fuck. Then I just need to do something like smaller than 0, but smaller than 0. I don't remember. I get a value, but how do I test it? I just need to, no, I think this doesn't work because with match statements and integers, it needs to be an exact value. This can be, well, I can do -1, right? This works. If the snakehead is -1, you move to the other side. I guess that works. Sure. And then I'll do snakehead dots, well, I guess I'll just do if statements. Fuck this. This is too much of a headache. There's probably a way to do it, but right now I cannot be bothered. If snakehead, well, I can just copy this. Yeah, it's kind of dumb. I think it is cleaner to use the match statement here, but it's with an array, right? I can cast it. If it's a vector 2, actually, let me look it up real quick. I can use the internet. I was looking at my Godot post. Godot match with vector 2. With if statement, there should be no match x value of a vector 2. Is it just not possible? Maybe. This is just math. It might not be possible to do match with vector 2 anyway. So anyway, I'll just do this. If snakehead.x is smaller than 0, do this. Then we just add an if here. So if snakehead.x is bigger, 0. Input movements, inputs. How did I add this here? I don't know, strange things are happening. Let's copy this, paste it here. Now we just do the same. If the y is smaller than 0, then the y will be equal to amount height. So these are things I would definitely cut out because they're not informational anyway. It is just me realizing there's no clean way to do a match here unless I'm mistaken. I could cast it to an array and then no. Fuck it. Let's just keep going. And then this needs to be height. If it's bigger than the height, then the snakehead.y is equal to 0. Sure. And then we just do the same thing again. We append the snakehead and we remove the tail. Now, if I run this, let's see if it wraps around the screen. It does. Oh, that's awesome. But I think it goes one too many. So I think I need to do equal everywhere. I think I need to add an equal sign. to make, because right now it wraps after it goes out of bounds. There's one frame where it's not in screen basically. But now this should resolve it. Yes, it does. Oh no, this is not. So for the 0, it is not. Good to know. What about this then? Wraps. Now it does not want to wrap at all anymore. What happened? Oh. Because it did before, right? Unless I didn't realize. So this should wrap to the side. I'm unsure. It's not a major bug. It's not worth spending too much time on right now. I think it's something very stupid and very simple. Anyway, we want to now add points to our snake, right? Which is very obvious. So we want to be able to pick up points. So we have move snake, and then we need to check after the movement has happened if we're landed on an orb. So check orb. We create a function, check orb. And then we just see if snake dot back, or no, back, that's the head, in orbs. This is so simple. We just take the position of the back, which is the head, check if it's in the orbs array. If so, then we just remove the orb and increase our size. We do size plus equals 1. What's up? No, I'm recording. Size plus equals 1. And we basically need to make sure that there is another thing in the tail being added at the end. So I'll think about this in a second. There is no size either. So I think I didn't add the size variable, right? Thank you. Snake length, I did. So I need to do snake length plus equals 1. And I need to do orbs dot remove or erase, and the value is gonna be the snake dot back. So now I can pick up orbs, they get removed from the orb array, and I increase my length. But now my length increase also needs to be making the snake move. So what I need to do is I need to check if my length has increased, which so that way I don't remove the tail basically. So I have the snake length, but I also need to check the previous snake length. I think I just need to update them. Or no, maybe snake length, or maybe it's a boolean. Actually, maybe I'm doing this wrong. I do, because you can only increase once per frame. You cannot increase multiple yet, right? So increase length bool is equal to false. Maybe that's how I do it. This seems like the simplest way. And then when I take an orb, which is, where did I put this? Here. I'll increase the snake length, whatever, but I just do snake increase, or increase length is true. And then I'm just gonna check here if increase length, then increase length is false. Otherwise, it's just gonna eat the tail. So this should now be able to extend my snake. Let's see, I need to wait for some orbs to spawn. There's one. And we have a snake. A snake that runs and grows, which is awesome. Now, one final thing to do is make sure that we can die when we run into our tail. So for this, I am just going to do another thing, which is I need to check this after I move the snake, which is check def. And then we have function check def. If snake.back, snake.back. You cannot just check if it's in your snake, right? But because your head is always in your snake, but I need to check if it's in the other part of the snake. So I need to just get a filtered snake. So variable filtered snake is equal to snake dot filter. I'll do a very simple lambda function because I just need to, I can also just pop the back. Let's just do a very simple lambda function. So function item, just return item is not equal to, or item dot position. How do I check this? Return if the snake dot find. No, I feel like there has to be an easier way than this. There definitely is. Filtered snake is equal to snake dot duplicate, and then filtered snake dot pop back, or remove that. Remove that is worse. I'll just do pop back. So I'll duplicate the snake, pop the back, and then I'll check if the back is in filtered snake. If so, then get tree dot quit. And that should be def, and that should actually be a full game of Snake, where you have random orbs spawning on the screen, picking it up, your tail is increasing, and I'm gonna add a few small things that I was talking about, where you increase the speed over time, and maybe you could even have some special orbs. You can create a special orbs array that randomly gets orbs spawned. Like, you can do so much with this actually, of this basic concept. And now if I run into my tail, I die. So I do actually want to speed up the game. I think that is a very fun idea. So I'll instead of a constant, this needs to be a float. So frame rate needs to be, no, a variable. I mean, variable frame rate is 0.2, and const frame speed up float is equal to 0.01, and maybe every time you pick an orb it speeds up. That makes more sense, right? So the longer you are, the more it goes. So whenever you pick up an orb, which is orb, draw orbs, check orb, check if you're in an orb. If so, I'll do frame rates minus equals frame progress, but I need it to be clamped, right? So I'll do clamp, if I can clamp frame rates by maybe the minimum. I should set the minimum in the variables as well. Let's just do this. So I'll do const min frame rate float is equal to 0. I don't know, 0.05? Maybe that works. And then if I go to where I was, min frame rates and max, doesn't matter. Does this return the new frame rate? Yes, so I need to do frame rate is equal to climb. Sure, I can probably fit this on one line as well, but let's see if that works. I mean, it's gonna be hard to notice, right, until I play a lot. I don't really notice the speed up yet. I can notice a little bit. Maybe you guys can notice as well. And that is Snake basically done in 1 hour, right? With an increasing difficulty curve, with screen wrapping properly done, without a tile map, completely drawing this by hand, setting the own frame rate. There's no collision. Orbs do not spawn in the snake or on top of each other. I can still increase the orb spawn rate as well. Right now it's 4 seconds. I can also decrease it. I can create special orbs, and I ran into myself, so I didn't even get to test this. And we ended up with a script that is a total of 137 lines with white space. I will leave this project down below. Maybe it's fun for people to take a look at. This can be optimized a lot. There's a lot of issues and mistakes with it, but I think there's a lot of things to learn from this. Like the, I don't know, could be interesting to take away some stuff from here. And I definitely made mistakes, so let me know what I did down below in the comments. Thank you for watching.